I have an update about this one new men channel and Bible with Dr. Oz. That would be me. I haven't been posting much lately, and that's because I have been very busy getting ready to move, both me and my wife. It's one of the reasons I'm recording this video in the car. We are moving. God told us to move to New Brunswick, and I believe that New Brunswick will be a place of refuge for many people. And recently I've received a huge confirmation that there is an exodus in Canada, an exodus underway from the provinces overrun with, let's call it, the capital from Asia, BC and Ontario, namely Vancouver and Toronto. Both cities have become, especially Vancouver, where we are now, quite unlivable, very expensive, crowded. There will be an earthquake here in Vancouver. The big one will hit the whole west coast. There will be more forest fires, and we don't see a future for us here. And a lot of people are moving to New Brunswick, and it's an exodus. For us, God told us, and there are other people, and I will tell you in a second about the confirmation from a Christian guy who moved from Ontario to New Brunswick. But there is an exodus, and there are also some non-Christians moving with the Christians, and that totally makes sense, because when the Hebrews came out of Egypt, with them tagged along a large group of non-Jews who also sought freedom. So God is having mercy on some people and allowing them to exit the slavery and move to the places of refuge. And this time the slavery for us, for Christians, is not spiritual, but this time we're moving out of Egypt physically. The Canadian government is basically engaged in a sort of ethnic cleansing, displacing its own population in favor of the Chinese money, not caring how many problems this brings on the local population who is being displaced. People have problems finding places to live. Forget about buying a home. People are getting evicted, and it's just it's getting crazy here. We actually got evicted ourselves. We found a place later, but one bedroom in Vancouver can cost you as much as $2,000. So things are totally out of proportion, because the government is allowing the Chinese citizens to speculate on the real estate here, buying multiple condos and houses and flipping them, very often not living in those houses, remaining in Shanghai and Guangdong province and Beijing or wherever, but just speculating on the real estate, which drives the prices sky high. And as long as the Chinese money flows in, the government couldn't care less. Luckily, we have a good king in heaven, and he is giving us this place of refuge in New Brunswick, where we can live under the shadow of the Almighty. It's because New Brunswick meets that criteria of the secret place of the Lord, because it's hidden, out of sight, out of mind. It's not on anybody's radar. It's tucked away in the woods. And like I said, many people are moving, and we have, in our case, God told us. In our case, God told us specifically. He gave us the name of the street where the house is, the house which we eventually bought. I heard the voice of God with the name of the street. And I would be reluctant to share this because I don't know how many people are going to believe me that I really heard the voice of God. I Google that name that God gave me, and there was a house on sale on that street at the moment, and we bought that house. Otherwise, that house was not on my list of properties to look at when we were looking. So it was quite remarkable. But a couple of days ago, we contacted this Ontario guy who also moved, a Christian man who also moved with his family to New Brunswick. And we never told him our story, our testimony, how God told me the name of the street. But he asked us in the email, he said, did God lead you specifically to a certain house to buy? And that's apparently what happened in their case. So it's happening. It's happening not just to us. God leads his people, his followers, Christians, to the place of refuge, giving us specific directions where to go, what to do. And they are also homesteading and running an organic farm, which is the same thing God told us to do. So this is a huge confirmation that there is more of us, and there's an exodus underway. Christians are called to a place of refuge by God, and that proves that the end is coming. The difficult times will be here, and I personally hope there is a rapture, but in case there isn't, until the second coming of Jesus, then at least we will have some breathing space. And I think the second coming of Jesus, by the way, is very close. It's within 15 years, 13 years probably, most likely. So we will be farming organically, we'll be homesteading. It's a huge change for us to move to New Brunswick, because right now we're city folks with city jobs. But over there in the Maritimes, we will be homesteading and growing things to be self-sufficient and so forth. But we want to grow things not just organically, but also biblically. And what that means is keeping the Sabbath year. Every 7th year, land is supposed to lay fallow, and any farming is supposed to stop. No seeding, no weeding, no tilling, nothing. And God promises to give a bumper crop in the 6th year, so that the farmer and the family, they have something to eat in the 7th year. And the purpose is for the soil to rest and for the poor to eat. So we'll see if any gleaners show up. But soil depletion is a serious problem. But God gives us these laws, not because he wants to make our lives complicated, but because he cares for his creation, he cares for his people first of all, and he wants us to be healthy, and he wants the soil to be restored and us to eat healthy food. So that's what we will be doing. And that man from Ontario who moved to New Brunswick, he also asked if we got any message from God about the number 7. He's had number 7 on his heart for a while, but he doesn't know exactly what it means. And I'm going to tell him that according to me, it is the 7th year of Sabbath. Every 7th year, a rest is given to the soil. So this is the big news. We're moving. This is the preview of our farm, by the way, and this is the land that God gave us. And we've planted some trees. There is also God's wisdom. There are rules about planting trees. I'll be talking about that as well in New Brunswick in these very last days. Check in with this channel in May, and until then, may the Lord richly bless you from Zion. Praise the Lord Jesus. He's coming soon. Take care. Bye-bye.